grab the dice and see if you can roll a nat 20 as we talk about Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. I'm Adam from Does It Hold Up, and let's start this campaign. A group led by Chris Pine's Edgin must steal some treasure to set everything right that they had a hand in ruining in the first place. And rounding out the ragtag group is Michelle Rodriguez's Holga, Edgin's best friend and the muscle, Justice Smith's Simon, a competent but not quite good enough sorcerer, and Sophia Lillis's Doric, a druid with the ability to shapeshift into animals. Their ire lands firmly on the shoulders of Hugh Grant's Forge, a con man with only his best intentions in mind, and his trusty red wizard Sophina, played by Daisy Head, who gives one of the most unnerving performances in an adventure film we've seen in a long time. The acting in this movie is incredible. Each actor puts their all into the performances and brings life to these characters in a strange magical world. Hugh Grant is giving off the same vibes as his character in Paddington 2, but when it's not broke, don't fix it. He leans very hard into playing a character that, for his actions, we must hate him. But with his charm, we can't help but to like him as well. Chris Pine is fantastic as the emotional core of this movie, which is amazing because he's also the center of most of the humor. Michelle Rodriguez is not my favorite actress, but this seems to be a role that was made for her as she excels with the deadpan, straight-faced responses to Pine's frantic chaos. Justice Smith fits the role of Simon perfectly with his slightly off-putting nervousness and lack of confidence, but does so in such an amiable way that it comes across as really charming. Sophia Lillis is the only one who, although plays Doric beautifully, doesn't have as much to do as the rest of the cast and can get lost in the background often. The story feels new and familiar all at the same time, as it's nothing we haven't seen before, but it's set in a world that is vibrant and dark. The writers actually understood D&D because there are plenty of nods to the game without alienating the people who know very little or nothing at all about Dungeons and Dragons. Not only that, but it feels like the writers were maybe big fans of James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxies, as these characters seem to share a lot of similar traits. If you are expecting this to be a big old family affair, be aware that this movie can get very dark at times, with subject matter that may not be suitable for all ages. They do try to drape some comedy bits over the darker moments to bring some levity, such as this scene set in a burial ground.
Only answer when I talk to you, okay?
Yes. Why did you say okay at the end of that?
I didn't.
Fantastic. Where's the shovel?
And most, if not all, the humor lands, because it's not doing the insert pop culture joke here we see in other big budget movies like the MCU, but relies on situational comedy and allowing the interactions among the characters to lead the way for laughter. The pacing of this movie might be its biggest selling point outside the incredible ensemble cast, because there is never a moment that feels dull or wasted. The action is fast but entertaining, and you won't find yourself checking your watch at all. The biggest shortcoming of the pacing, however, is the convoluted story being presented, as every 10 minutes or so, our heroes are off to find another MacGuffin that serves little to no bearing on what they're actually trying to accomplish. I know this relates really well to playing an actual D&D campaign, but for your average moviegoer, it might get a little exhausting. Or it could be exactly what you came looking for. By the end, it's a very quick 2+ hour movie that is fun from the first moment to the last. The action in this movie is fantastic, as each fight sequence feels unique and fresh compared to the ones that came before. Not only that, but each action sequence builds upon the last without ever going overboard and allowing you to understand that the stakes are raised with each fight. By the final battle between our heroes and Sophina, the big bad red wizard, you will see things you hadn't yet seen up to that point, which is amazing considering how many battles we've already seen. This movie is full of some beautiful scenery and gorgeous locations, but something that isn't as pretty as it probably should be is some of the CGI. Don't get me wrong, a lot of it works, like the magic from the less than stellar sorcerer Simon, the red cloud that Sophina is trying to conjure, and the maze creature the heroes must face. But other bits didn't work quite as well, especially the animal shapeshifting seen by the druid Doric throughout the runtime. With enough humor, action, and surprisingly heavy, heartfelt moments, this movie has enough for everyone to find something they like. We are giving Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves an A-. And the studio must know they have something good on their hands, because they've been doing a lot of advanced screenings, that's how we saw it, allowing reviews to be put out early, like the one you're listening to, and putting a large promotion behind it. Hopefully the box office proves them right, because we think this is one of the best times you'll have at the theater so far this year. Thanks for watching, and let us know in the comments below what you think of Dungeons & Dragons, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more great content. Until next time, keep watching movies.